think it is done.
How about we do that after the pledge, because I already told the people. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want the minutes to reflect that I did that out of order. Can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fodor? Present. Mr. Jarborough? Present. Mr. Kelly?
Here.
Mr. Poth?
Present.
Mr. Palestrini? Here. And Mr. Robinson? All are present.
All right. Good evening. Is there anyone signed up to speak this evening?
No one has signed up?
Just checking.
Just checking.
Sure. All right. Before you have a few sets of meetings, so please review them at this time. We're going to need to do separate motions for each, but we have the minutes from the 5th and the 19th of February in your packet this time. I'll take questions and or comments about either set of minutes. Just specify which minutes that you're referencing, and then we'll do the roll call vote for each one.
Don't you need a motion?
No, right.
Oh, okay.
Right, but I want you to be able to review them on the list.
I'll motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 5th.
Second.
Questions or comments about the February 5th minutes? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Jarborough? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Poth?
Aye. Aye.
Ms. Palestrini? Abstain. Robinson?
Aye.
And Ms. Fodor? Aye. Motion passes, and that's a yes, so we succeed.
I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes up for February 19th or entertain any questions about them.
So moved.
Second. Questions and or comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Poth?
Aye.
Ms. Palestrini? Aye. Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Fodor? Abstain. And Ms. Jarborough? Aye. Motion passes 6.
Next, we have the accounts payable to be paid on or before March 5th, 2026, in the amount of $211,187.16. Please review them at this time. Them being the accounts payable. Multiple. And we'll entertain any questions that you might have about said. I would like to point out that this is a pretty small amount considering what we've been seeing lately.
One question, what's the, sorry, I need to zoom in. Hold on. On page 6,
Page 6.
Illinois County's Risk Management Trust.
That's our first payment for our liability and workman's comp insurance.
Oh, okay, so that's the insurance.
Correct. So we put down 25%. We'll have 6 payments.
Does that only apply to staff that is aligned to water, sewer, and here in the admin building
For workman's comp,
for these payments? Yeah. Or does it cover like police and everybody
it
else?
covers everything. It's
Okay.
village-wide, along with the liability insurance for all the buildings and properties and stuff that we have, along with vehicles.
Why do we evenly take out a water and sewer and
They're split.
general fund?
That's the way we've always done it. They have a higher rating than the admin does. So we've just always done it that way.
Do we get it separated out by department?
We have
Just
an
one bill to the
estimate.
village, right?
We have an estimate, correct, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions about the accounts payable? I entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable as presented.
So second.
Questions and or comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Poth?
Aye.
Ms. Palestrini?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Fodor? Aye. Ms. Jarborough? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next, it's approving a professional service agreement with EEI. So I'm going to lean on Ms. Seehausen and maybe Mr. Paulson for this.
Lean on Tim, because it's a update to what we currently have on file.
All right, Mr. Paulson, right off the bat, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. So it's one of the required reports, or 2 of the required reports we have for the water utilities, all water utilities. to have an emergency response plan and a risk and resilience plan. And we did this, I believe, about 5 years ago. And now this year, the 5-year updates are due. And Mark Montgomery has asked us to assist him in getting that prepared.
Any questions for Tim?
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Paulson. So is the update materially different than what EEI helped us to do 5 years ago?
It's very similar, yeah. Looking at the same kind of scenarios, just seeing if there's been any changes, and then reevaluating through the programs that are required to fill out the forms and update the report.
What do you mean by the programs? Is it like, are we talking software programs, or are we talking programs like evaluating the emergency preparedness policies and procedures as a program for that scenario?
Correct. It's not a computer program.
Yeah. So if we don't have, the way I was reading the proposal, if we don't have anything that's new that would require a new scenario has to be added. If things haven't changed, then we're just recertifying that same procedure, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason why we can't do this in-house since it's a renewal? I understood when we first submitted it, but if it's a renewal, have we had major, do you know, Mr. Paulson, have we had major changes that would require additional things?
I don't believe so. I believe the intent was to do it in-house, and Mark doesn't believe, they don't have the staff capacity to go through the exercise and get things done on time.
My only other two questions for you, sir. When I look at the schedule, the cost schedule for renewal, we have a senior project manager, a senior project engineer level 2. And then an admin. Is there a reason why we need that high of a seniority on a project like this? Because the hourly rate is significantly different than people with less seniority, maybe.
In this case, the senior project manager is Steve Dennison, who heads up that, this area for our group. And then the senior project engineer 2 is the woman who did this originally for us. So she did the Hampshire one, and she's done ones for a number of communities. So I feel like Steve put together, the team on this to be the most efficient that we could do.
Okay, and then speaking of efficiency, that's a good segue to my final question. It's estimated at 42 hours of work. Is there a reason why it takes 10 months in the project plan? It has it kicking off in March and ending in December.
Right, because one of them is due in June, I believe, and one is due at the end of the year. So that's why the timeline is the way it is, to correspond with the deadlines. So it's not necessarily going to be working, throughout that period on it. There'll be a period of time when we'll be able to dedicate the time to get it done before the deadline within that window that's shown on the schedule.
Okay, and the two things you're talking about is the RRA and the ERP.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
I had a similar question, Mr. Kelly, why we're spending $8,500 for some renewals. I don't know the depth and scope of the project, but it seems like that's kind of a lot of cash.
Mike, what's the fine if it isn't done?
I don't know the answer to the question off the top of my head, what the penalties are.
Is it more than 8,500?
I don't know.
I don't think it's a question of not doing it. I think we have to do it by law. I think the question is, why do we spend almost $9,000 for an engineer firm to renew something? If it was like, the first time we went through it, it was putting the whole thing together, absolutely walking us through it, and makes total sense. But we have some of their most senior people doing a renewal. almost 9K just seemed, that's why I was asking questions. So I appreciate you giving me the information, Mr. Paulson. Thank you very much.
I'm not
Sure.
baiting staff in this. I'm just trying to understand it.
Yep, and all I can do is revert back to Mark. Obviously, he's our water supervisor. He kind of dropped this on us at the last minute because it's due up in June, and actually sent us all the information. So we didn't even know that it was coming. If you would like, I can revert back to him and get some further information on why he doesn't think he can complete it.
Well, I don't want to miss any deadlines, but I just don't, I just understand. I don't understand, like, Mr. Paulson said, that if it was 10 months of work, right, but it's not all at once. One's in June and then one didn't, and if we're not changing anything, I just don't understand that, that's all. It's up to this board as to what you want to do, but I don't want to hinder or handcuff staff either, but maybe this is a goal we can work toward to try to handle some, like we did with the spraying in public works and that kind of stuff. We used to outsource that kind of stuff, but maybe there's an opportunity here for us to be able to bring some of this back in-house. That's a fair conversation, maybe.
I agree. I think it'd be nice for some of the smaller projects, because of course, we're gonna leave to EEI for the big projects that we have that are tens of thousands of dollars that we need them for. Some of the smaller ones, it would be nice if we could do them in-house. If there's a reason why we can't, then Mark can share that. And
I believe that's, he's been down 2 people. We have Dustin now, right? So he is down 2 people, which leaves him kind of, short. And also during the winter, they spend a lot of time out on the roads, right? So we're not with but I do believe it's something that we could work towards. I don't know if we want to do that this time. Like I said, Tim, if we table this to next board meeting, how much time is that going to put you behind?
No, we can certainly still make the deadlines if we're waiting another month.
I don't think that we need to stall this. I don't think that that's where the board's coming from. I think that we're trying.
I just need to get more information.
No, I understand that, but maybe there's an opportunity to read, like, in something like this, where it's gonna be a long project. Is there something to where, like, I don't know, we could have the engineering staff on speed dial. We could do the lion's share of the work and then they can look over our stuff before we submit it. That kind of stuff. Check our work kind of deal. But I certainly, I understand where Mark's coming from, being down 3 people, all that other stuff. I'm not questioning that. I'm just trying to understand it. If the board wants to table this, we can table this, but at the end of the day, I'll entertain a motion to approve this as presented. So moved. Second. Questions and or comments? Ms. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ms. Palastrellini?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Fodor?
Aye.
Ms. Jernerbro?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
No.
And Mr. Coe?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-1, sorry.
Next, this is under new business, but it's really kind of like old business. We've talked about it before. So this is about the parking downtown. And we had discovered that, we did have governance on the books. What's before you is what you've seen before. We're not changing anything. This is more of like an FYI, right?
Well, and so in February, I sent out a letter to all the businesses. This was the board meeting that I put in that letter in case anybody wanted to come and talk about it. And so that's why it's on your agenda tonight, because we said we would be discussing it. So I left it on the agenda. We have something that is in place that, obviously I believe Lieutenant Neblock is here for any questions on how they're going to try to police it, so to speak. Talked a little bit about it with the chief. So if you want to give a little.
Yeah, I don't really have a prepared speech, but it would basically be a complaint-driven response. So it's nothing that we would be actively scouring the downtown for violators. It would be, once a complaint is received, we'd investigate to determine who the owner is and how long it's been there, and take the appropriate action at that point if needed.
Are we going to post some signage to that effect?
Well, we'll work on that with Dave and Doug. We'll see what we can come up with and get it posted.
These have been on the books for years.
Yeah, yes.
And there's no signs, and I know we just redid the downtown parking, so I can see that there may be some differences there, but we've never had a sign up. I never knew there was 15-minute parking or 30-minute parking. I assumed it was by the coffee shop that we had at the end of the street, because that was in and out type stuff, but,
I'm just as surprised.
yeah.
I've been here for 20 years and I found out about this yesterday, so.
No, I knew that there were some 15-minute or 30-minute parking spaces back when the hardware store was here, but I know that after the hardware store is gone, that those signs came down. But those, I mean, I think a lot of the signage came down is, unfortunately, I think as our downtown
Like front here?
fellow part, what's the right words to say? Most of the businesses moved out. I think it wasn't enforced, so there was no reason to have the signs. So the signs came down all previous to us being here, and now we're having issues again because we're very happy that our downtown is very busy. As frustrating as it is that you can't get a parking spot in your, with your family when you want to go to the restaurant, it's a good problem to have that you have to park down the block, right? But
Thank God for those municipal lots that people should use. Leave it for the
right,
people that are gonna come and do that,
right.
eat and stuff, have the employees and stuff park in the municipal lot.
So this is good. I know that Christine Klein is here. She's a business owner. Is that why you came tonight?
Hmm?
Do you have any comments or anything you'd like to say? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you did come to this.
I noticed.
I will even go on record and say that I've been putting your letter on people's cars.
Oh, wow. People, well, not names.
There are specific organizations in town that continue to do so.
And I don't understand, they're taking parking away from their own customers. That's what I can't understand as a business owner.
That's what I couldn't understand when this got brought up about a month ago.
Like, hello?
Yes.
Low patrons.
Because it's hard for seniors that, they can't walk long ways, and to park in the municipal lots is much harder for them, to get around the block. And so,
Well, we have very few spots here, and we have a lot of residents that come in here, and the business owner next door always parks in the first spot here, closest to our door, and it's kind of, you have the elderly people having to park 4 and 5 things, down, and it's kind of a shame, but
I think we order the signs and get to enforcement.
yep.
because even in front of Village Hall, and I didn't look to see exactly which business it was in front of. I mean, do we then have a 15-minute, for people that want to run in and pay their water
We do
bill?
not.
We do not.
Not at the current time.
I took it off. Well, heck, I would
And so-
add that if we could.
Well, and so that's what we were talking, that's originally what preempted this, okay, was the Village Hall parking space. Because of the business owner and that kind of stuff, and so that's why I was like, originally the plan was to bring before the board to establish a no parking spot in front of the Village Hall. But then, in talking with other businesses and observing, it's been a problem. So we need to do a one-size-fits-all. So at the same, I do not disagree that first space in front of Village Hall should become a 15-minute parking or 30-minute parking or whatever it is between certain business hours, like is in here. But I think that we need to start enforcing parking downtown in general.
I think we need to add boots in the budget next year. Start booting them.
Good, then nobody can park there.
Honestly, if we do this and move into actually putting up signs, et cetera, my personal opinion is I'd hate to be a complaint driven. And not that I want our officers to be running around downtown just chalking tires. But you can see where the problems are, or the particular businesses that are having the worst trouble. So even just a drive-by to see, and then coming back, half an hour later, seeing that same car, or an hour later when it's a 30-minute, but I mean, not that I want to ticket our residents, but it sounds like it's the same groups of people, not just
They don't
patrons.
collect tickets anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It's true. Bad.
You better, this village manager's gonna throw something money.
You saying she can't throw?
No, just maybe other.
I would be ducking if I were you. Scoot down there, scoot down.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So I appreciate this. I appreciate the discussion. I appreciate the signage. Let's start there and see where it goes.
Okay, so am I coming back with adding the 15-minute spot?
It looks like if you look at the diagram here on, what is this, page 5, there is one here. It does, it
Okay.
looks like there's one there already.
Is that
It's
what they-
more intended to be. That's where that parallelogram is.
Okay.
In this-
Okay.
I figured that's what these were.
Yeah, so, and it shows, because there's a handicap space right in front and then one right next to it's 15-minute.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, sir.
So I don't think we need to add anything more. I think just enforce what's on the books and we'll see where it goes.
Where who's nice.
Unless the board has a different opinion.
I think we have to start with enforcing what we have,
Yeah, and
see how it's going, and then adjust accordingly.
Thanks.
when did this, just because I didn't know about it at all, when were these put onto the books?
In the 90s.
In the 90s.
Lots of good things happen then.
True.
The village ordinances are public for anybody to see.
Anything more on State Street before we move on to Lakewood Crossing? Okay, so Lakewood Crossing, there's been a few requests from residents over the few months to try to help with some traffic control. And the police department's been involved running traffic with the speed trailers and being, complaint driven radar and that kind of stuff. And the request is, the recommendation is to install some additional stop signs up within Lakewood Crossing to kind of control some of the traffic over there. The intersections are listed below. To be fair, we've had trouble on Hennig for a while, as it, goes over into Huntley. This has been something that we talked about.
For us to discuss it.
Okay.
It's not for us to install it.
Well,
I'm saying we're discussing it today.
Correct, but I don't think that we need to vote on us putting up stop signs, do we?
Yeah.
I think if in the agenda supplement, it says that we would have to do a study. It's a
Okay.
minimum of $3,000 for the initial one. Like they did at.
Is that one of those little tubes the air tubes they, put across the street and it registers the amount of vehicles?
Something similar, correct?
What I'm getting at is this doesn't have to come back for a vote for the traffic study, correct? Because that's under your spending authority. It would be a vote for us to put the stop sign up after this traffic study is completed, but you need the temperature of us.
Right, because I only know of one complaint, so I wanted to make sure
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say, the way that you were talking about it, President Reed, is different than what the supplement, and my question was more on how the supplement was, because it says, village staff received a request from a resident, and then because of that request, village staff has reached out to EEI to talk about what it would cost to do that. It also gathered data from the police department regarding speed-related traffic citation. So I think this shows that village staff has done a lot of things because a resident came, which is good. And I don't know that village staff should be doing this much work every time a resident comes in with a request. And I wonder,
So this
we
resident
have
came in probably since I've started here with this complaint.
It's been before your.
They're on Facebook all the time.
I understand that, but
More than
my-
just one.
And so.
okay, I get that, but my question then becomes, this is one example, and I'm not saying I'm for or against stop signs or doing a study or any of that. But as village residents have requests for traffic, like stop signs, for lower speed limits, for, I don't know, we've had like we've talked before on park zones, and we've talked on a lot of different ordinance changes, and we should consider, or staff should consider, like, what does that process look like that needs to happen before staff then goes to act and spends the time and the effort and the money to look into all of this to bring it to the board, right? Is it that a resident wants, and like in this case, some stop signs, which may make a lot of sense, but should they go to the community and bring in some type of documentation showing it's not just one person, like there's signatures of multiple people in that community, or that it's we're going to continue to grow. And at some point, we're going to have 3,000 new homes on top of all the homes we currently have. And I think to have some system in place to be able to make requests to the village, maybe something now to think about as we have different requests that may come in. We have very set procedures for zoning changes or for special use or any of those type of things that residents may want to do. This, all I'm saying, I'm not saying this is good or bad that we're talking about this. It's just, I think this highlights that there might need to be some type of procedure for residents to be able to lodge these type of concerns or a determination when village staff actually starts to put a lot of time and effort, like is evident here.
So I'm going to be clear in this. This situation at Lakewood Crossing has been going on for several years. The lieutenant can attest to this based on several residents' complaints. The way that the agenda supplement is written at the current time specifically specifies the one resident that is not let up. But this has been a common theme in that subdivision for a very long time, highlighted by the fact that recently we've had a drunk driver drive through somebody's backyard into a play pen. Now, the stop sign wouldn't stop the drunk driver, I'm pretty confident, but it's a similar thing. I mean, that was on the news back in September.
That was on-ish.
Yes. And so it was under my direction to staff saying, look, this is a big deal. We've heard about it for a long time. What is the process? What do we have to do? And so I said to that end, for the board's edification, the board needs to understand what it takes to put up a stop sign because people think that we can just put them up. Right? And so this is more so to, I don't want to say public spectacle, right? But to educate residents in general, to your point, that you can't just put up stop signs all over the place without doing a traffic study. So I wanted staff to say, I wanted staff to bring to the board, this is what it takes in order for the board, or for the village to do that, which is to, okay, it's going to cost the village, at a minimum, it's going to cost us the staff time to get this far, right? And then it's going to cost a $3,000, traffic study. And that traffic study doesn't guarantee that where these stop signs are listed is going to allow for the stop sign to be placed.
No, and I understand. And with that reasoning, totally makes sense that we're talking about it, but that's not how it was presented. And that's why I brought up the question of, do we have one resident cause this type of workload to happen?
Right. No.
So
not
I appreciate the background on it.
Yeah, no, not typically.
That process makes sense.
No, I mean, we work, and I'll speak for staff on this. When a resident calls with any type of concern, I'm not even going to call it a complaint. We dig into it, and then 90% of the time after we explain the process, if it's too arduous, or we can't come to some solution, then they'll come speak to the full board. That's what we encourage them to do. But the stop sign and speed control and radar, and it's a common conversation that we have at the board level on a regular basis or out in the community on a regular basis, where they're treating our streets like a racetrack and this and that. And that's why we've, in the budget meeting, put, budget, the police department's asked for more radar signs for traffic control and stuff. And so that's why I feel like it's important that we have this discussion, to your point, and for the public's sake, this is what it takes to have this done.
Yep.
So in bringing this tonight, the staff needs direction. Again, it doesn't require a vote for them to say, okay, yeah, just do the traffic study. Or do we say, no, this is not something that we need to deal with right now. Come to your point, get some signatures from your residents, and then we'll go back to this one resident and say, the board has heard you. This is what it is. This is what we're going to ask of you. Is it a problem that you are having just with, this, is it a problem you are having, or is it a problem your neighborhood is having? Staff needs some direction.
Gotcha.
And so that's what we brought it up for, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, because we only heard from the one resident multiple times, and it was concerning to me to do this without knowing what the rest of the temperature was in that subdivision.
I apologize.
And the one thing that is concerning is we did have a subdivision that had no stop signs for a year or two. And then without any studies at all, and this is in the middle of the subdivision, we agreed and put in by ordinance
I remember
about
this.
15, 16 stop signs.
Well, I think that was a different situation, and I can't remember why, but I think that it was different because there were, I believe there were signs that were called out for in the development agreement that were never erected.
Okay,
And I believe that we put them up in relationship to what should have been there, but for some reason or another, it just wasn't done. And so we adopted it via ordinance like we have to do, but I believe those were already called out in the agreements for that subdivision. I just believe that wasn't done.
so it's just,
Which subdivision was it?
It was Prairie Ridge,
It
right?
was the crown one over here, on the north side.
It was, I think we were all here with the exception of trustee Jarnbro. I think we were all on the board at the time when that happened. And there were residents that were mad about it and said, we don't have any stop signs. And then after our research, I believe we dug into the agreement.
It was this fiscal year.
yeah,
I believe we dug into the agreement and there were signs, we put up new signs, but we didn't just put them wherever we wanted. I believe that we put them in places where they were supposed to be to begin with.
and then we put it within the ordinances and the,
Correct. We adopted them because every stop sign within the village, I believe every traffic control device is in our ordinance somewhere.
okay, so we would have to then first do this study and then do an ordinance to put them there.
Right, because these are new ones.
Okay. I mean, this is my concern is that it's a lot, no, it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but $3,000, just the preliminary study to get it started. I understand safety, so I'm not questioning safety at all. But we have had police that have done stuff out there, and we've got this portable device that we have now to control speeding, not to control, but to alert people of speeding. We're looking at purchasing more of those. And we've got a problem here, and the result of it isn't helping to actually get people to stop speeding because we had 2 citations in 20 for one thing and 4 for the other. So an entire year in this area, that's a big problem. We've only had 6 citations total.
We've only had 6 that they caught. If you look on Facebook, this happens every week, every single week. The $3,000 study has to be done by law. It isn't something that we're just manufacturing.
To move forward on it, yes, but I mean, to figure if police are out there and they're looking at, and we've got a speed device that's there, a radar to be able to get people to slow down and, so that's there and they're not hearing at that point, then we've got to start enforcing and maybe putting somebody out there, one of our officers out there for a period of time and start writing some tickets and we'll get people to think twice about continuing the speed. So maybe there's a need. I mean, I go through there all the time. To cut through over to get into the Huntley Del Webb subdivision. And, when I'm going around the curves, I'm going slow. I'm not speeding, and granted, I don't live there. So that's different when your house is right there and you're seeing it. But, I'd love to see some more enforcement and proactive on our part before we move into studies and stop signs and everything else. So I'm not watching on Facebook to see all the complaints from a certain subdivision. So I apologize if I'm not seeing that. I understand that there've been complaints, but as Trustee Kelly said, it's written as one person. The complaint.
Well, I can speak to, the only thing I would say to add to this is back, gosh, it had to have been 2013, 2014, 15, something like that. Like when I first got on and we had the public safety committee, we had residents that came to us and we tried to work with Huntley at the time to figure out where the jurisdiction of that bridge that goes over the tollway ends.
That was the majority of the problem, is the people coming down the bridge into the subdivision, and it still is the majority of the problem.
Yeah, and all the residents, and actually recently, we did put up a sign going into the subdivision on Henning Road, right by the bridge that says slow children at play. I think it's one of those signs. I think we did that last year to try to control that because we could do that without an ordinance, right? It just cost us the sign. So, I mean, we as the village have known that at least that has been an issue over the years. Again, I mean, I'm all about putting police out to get tickets and data and stuff, but the problem is, and the problem is that when you see a cop on the highway, you drive like an angel, and then the cop goes away, and then you bump up the
Is that an
speed limit.
admission?
Yeah, exactly.
And face it, the majority of the speeders are probably kids going to school, and in the afternoon, kids coming home from school at the time the police are busiest at the schools and can't sit there.
Yeah, because I think this back neighborhood is Huntley School District.
Correct.
Yeah. So they do have to go that way to get to the.
I'm all for it.
Half of it though. The
It's
other
been a
half.
long
This
time coming.
going from like Hennick back, this.
Okay, that part then. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's,
But the biggest thing to keep in mind, should this board say, okay, just do the study and see where it goes. If we do the study and the traffic doesn't warrant the stop signs, this is not something that we really can come back and visit, because once the warrants aren't met, the warrants aren't met, unless there's some kind of significant change in the traffic flow. So, I mean, it could be three.
Data for you.
You're welcome to.
I'm sorry. I understand. I can put the speed trailer out there, in a couple different spots and try to collect some data for you and bring it back to you. In the meantime, with whatever you decide.
That's an inexpensive solution. We already own the trailer, correct?
I think having it right there at the entrance, at the bottom of that hill coming down over the toll road is a perfect spot.
Okay.
Because, I mean, people fly over that hill at all hours of the day, not just school hours, and then, oh, there's a house. Like, so I think that would be a great.
Yeah, I mean,
spot to start.
if it's a safety concern that has been ongoing, that I
Yeah.
saw, the nods of, yeah, this is an ongoing issue, then I don't know why, like, okay, we can at least do the study. And to your point, if the study comes back that it doesn't warrant it, then that doesn't solve the situation, but it at least shows us that we can't just put a stop sign there. I had voiced why I had the concern in the original place, and this discussion, I mean, I think has broadened it, that it isn't just that. So I guess my personal opinion is, I think the trailer's a great idea to collect data. It's a data point. I think having, do we say, like, if the trailer warrants that we may need to have a study done because it's picking up a lot, then we do the study, or what is it? Is it an and motion of you do the trailer and you do the study?
I don't know that if they just agreed to do the study, that putting the trailers out the idea. I think because, it changes people's driving habits, seeing the trailer.
Or knowing it, it's not, you go through one thing street and then you know it's gonna be there tomorrow, you're not gonna speed through it.
Them kids don't know if that's taking a picture of their speed license plate or not. They don't know that.
Right, but if you do it today and you're like, oh, there's a trailer, tomorrow, you'll be like, I'm gonna slow down, I know the trailer's right there.
I think the traffic study's a long time coming.
our police department has kind of clarified for me that the trailer goes out there for a period of time, for a week or so. People that see it then stop and slow down, so it gets them their attention on it to slow down. And it's there all week. And then the next week, they don't have it, but they have an officer in and around the area to be able to kind of enforce at that point. It's, the speed radar was here for a week. People know that it was there, and if they still come through and they're still going fast, then they get the ticket. But it's to alert them to slow down. And that's the purpose of the trailer, is to get them to alert to slow down. And so if we have to keep that up for a period of time, to help those people in that neighborhood, and we only have one, right?
Correct.
Okay. So-
We've had the trailer out there before, correct?
Yes.
And the data, it's a while ago, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah, and I don't recall. I can get something for you by tomorrow.
But at the end of the day, the residents still don't feel that the trailer had the impact that we were hoping it would.
Certainly not in the long term, right?
What is the criteria in the traffic study in order to get a stop sign?
All that I don't.
Is it like
People know.
a certain number of cars per day, hour, week?
Mr. Paulson, 2 in 1 meeting.
Yeah,
Ready to
wow.
keep today.
There's a number of different warrants. So they're based on traffic per hour during the peak periods. It can be based on things like pedestrian traffic. It can be based on, there's a couple other, like turning conflicts or site issues, or the type of road. So there's different traffic levels for different types of roads, but there's, I think, about 10 total different ways the warrants can be met.
And I'm all for a study, but if it's just a study of how many cars come through the area, that's not gonna tell you what you need. It's
the
we need to
speed.
know how many speeders are coming through that area, and we know it's a lot.
Well, and the trailer will give us a count of
The
cars.
trailer will,
Well,
maybe.
no, but I believe that's what, I mean, there's some kind of mechanism. There's not just some guy counting,
But if it's just you're going over the strip and it's counting your car, that's not good. You could go over the
But they
strip
put
at
up-
60, or you could go over at 20, it's still gonna count one.
if I remember right, because we've done this other places, they put up multiple strips, right? And so like you hit it twice and they can tell based on how the time in between the strips,
Okay.
that how fast you were going. But it's a lot less intrusive than, or if you will, or a lot less. Because we're not gonna put they don't put signs up that say traffic study in progress. They just lay the strips out and so that they can get real-time data. You know what I mean?
They just maybe cameras on Facebook.
Or cameras on broomsticks. That seems to work, right?
It does for me.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. I mean, but seriously, they don't just count the number of cars.
Okay,
in this
I
conversation.
thought that's what that strip was doing, was just counting cars.
No, they-
Could get your speed too.
No, they have metrics for that, and then like we found it, right, I think we reported in the last meeting that the county put up cameras and just, they didn't tell anybody, they just ratchet strapped a camera to a pole. You know, so they have ways to get the metrics that they need.
Okay. So this is a problem, and it has been a problem in the subdivision for years.
Yep. So what's the flavor of the board? Again, we don't need to take a vote on it because it's just a matter of the village manager spending $3,000.
I think we need to address the concerns of our residents.
I think we need to do it.
Right. And I think that I'm gonna leave it to staff and experts to figure out how best to do that. And if we have to spend $3,000 to do that, you have my thumbs up on that, because, if you determine that's what we need, then do it, because it's been too long for people to be having this many problems. So I think to Trustee Kelly's position earlier, we really do need to have a process that's delineated for residents so that they know, hey, if you come to us already having done all of these steps, then we can move on to this step and this step, and that's how we determine.
I think it'll help staff too, because Missy Housen, you were saying this is the one I know of, and from the conversation, it seems like there have been a lot of complaints and it's been an ongoing issue and concerns with our police department. Having a system allows you to go back and say, is this an ongoing issue? Oh, wow, this has been going on for a couple of years. We need to figure
Yeah,
this
and I
out.
like the fact of getting signatures because I was concerned about it just being one person.
Right.
Will our trailer take record their speed?
Yes.
Yeah, if you remember, there was the chart that we got in one of the packets that had like number of cars.
No, I don't remember, Trustee Kelly.
I do.
I can't remember yesterday, okay?
States.
I only remember because it was State Street and it was like
Yeah.
12,000 cars on State Street or something. We were like, how many cars go up and
So
down
by the
State
mid-
Street?
It was 20,000.
Oh, so you do remember.
I just went off.
Touche.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, staff. Thank you for the discussion and indulgence. 9, we have on the agenda for old business. There's not anything on the agenda, but is there anything as far as old business the board would like to discuss at this time? Nope. Thank you for answering, Ms. Seehausen. Next, we have the building report, engineering report, and financial report. Inner monologue. We're gonna work on that.
I think it's great that permits are stepping up. 38 for single family homes in the month of February is awesome. Other village fees collected doubled what it was for the monthly average. Those type of fees for it to double like that, what was it that doubled it?
A lot of houses.
a lot.
So it's the new house.
Yeah, the new
starting, so it's
Other
like,
village
Those
fees?
fees are like the transition impact fees. So
Okay,
like, the village municipal transition, the early warning sign fee.
okay.
So those are the other fees collected.
So kind of goes in tandem with the
Yeah.
permit fees for the houses. Okay.
More houses, more of that.
Okay.
And I do expect it to have that 38 to be consistent for the next few months.
Permit fees then also almost doubled. Well, not quite double, but like 40% here. Was that like fences and sheds? I mean, is that starting to pick up already?
There's a lot of fences, sheds, a lot of re-roofs, window and door replacements.
Okay,
But yeah, there was quite a few fences that were issued, but they're not gonna be put in until there's a window warmer.
okay.
So,
Thank you.
Any other question about any of the reports?
for the engineering report, Mr. Paulson, for the safe routes to school, do we get a copy of the construction schedule and plan for that? Cause it says we're still waiting to hear from the contractor IDOT, or does that just go to IDOT?
No, we did reach out to the contractor this week and they're saying early April, but I do not have a date yet for their mobilization. So we should be working that out with them over the next couple weeks.
Are they gonna try and shoot, for the summer when school's out?
No, they want to start in early April, anticipated being done by the end of May.
Oh, they think it's only gonna take like a month and a half total?
Yeah, they're hoping to be done by the end of May.
Mr. Paulson, was the amount of the low bidder, was that about what you expected or was it high or low?
That was lower than our estimate, yes.
One more question with, well number 13 for the rehab. It says we're working on removal of the pump and the motor from the well. Is there an estimated time for that part of it to be done so we know where that's going?
I don't know for sure. I know they were investigating this week on what it would take to retrieve the pump and motor from the bottom of the well. So we were anticipating sometime this week or early next week, learning what it's going to take to get it out.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about any of the reports? All right, next we have village board committee reports. Mr. Kelly, hit us with the 1-2.
BDC will be meeting next Wednesday. Same time, same channel. All are welcome. And budget committee. So I want to thank Trustee Coe, Trustee Palestrini, who are the budget committee, as well as President Reed, who came to each of the budget meetings. And for staff for all of their hard work in getting the budget prepared. The budget, there were no additional questions at the end of the final meeting, so there was no need to schedule a third meeting. Staff is finalizing and crossing T's and dotting I's of the budget, and we'll be bringing it to the board for presentation and approval. Following the schedule of all the notices and the legal requirements for the budget. This is a stub year, and it only goes through December 31st. The one takeaway, because this may lead to a question when you see it, just remember that our revenues outside of fees, so our main revenues like taxes and things, are collected over the summer, so it's like June and September, I think, or June and August, sometime around there. By the time we get it.
The first installment will be received in May and the last one not until the tax sale at the end of October, so it's sometimes.
Yeah, but it's all within this sub year, so you're gonna see 100% of the revenue for what would be a calendar year within that 8-month budget. And then the next budget cycle, we will kick off probably around September timeframe, which will be for the January one through December 31, since that's our new fiscal year.
There'll be a lot of internal managing.
Yeah.
And external complaints.
So any questions on that, or Trustee Coe, Trustee Palestrini, anything you'd like to add from the budget committee?
No,
Okay.
Nope.
smooth process. I think our chairman did a very good job.
Yeah, there are things I think we'll discuss when we go through the budget that don't need to be discussed tonight, but we'll highlight a couple of areas that the board needs to be aware of when you start to consider long-term planning. That's all I have.
Any other announcements this evening?
I just want to congratulate Hampshire High School's women's wrestling team, who I believe are state champions.
State champion.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
State Street makes it through, and there's a lot of people honking their horns and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool to see.
So, pretty awesome to have state champions.
And did that, and then, the next day, are you thawed out yet, or are you still frozen? Chief, or Lieutenant?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
It was a good time.
From the polar plunge?
The polar plunge. We, the Hampshire Police Department came in 7th out of all of the organizations for raising money for Special Olympics, so. Yeah, so we outdid, bigger cities and towns like Woodstock. So, I mean, that was a win in Algonquin, I think we beat, so. Hampshire showed up like they always do to support the causes, so it was really great. So.
Not an announcement, but a question. Do we know when the public works facility will be open?
We should take ownership of it on St. Patrick's Day, is my understanding. We still don't have any furniture, any stuff in there. I walked through it. Man. So I want to wait until some of the other stuff gets installed, and I know that we all want to do a walkthrough, so I'd like to do that, but I don't think it's quite there yet. So, but
And they have months of moving stuff from there to over there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but they can at least.
Correct, and they're gonna, yeah, absolutely. But it is really impressive. Yeah.
Okay, we do have executive session tonight for, section 2C1, so I'll entertain a motion to, adjourn close our open meeting and go into executive. And, we'll take a 5-minute or so break in between.
And it's for staff.
Staff, employee.
Yeah, employees. So
We're all excused.
Second.
Questions and comments? All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Yes, we are all excused.
Yes.